Father and future queen, Felipe and Leonor's powerful royal moment. Everything seemed normal. Just another royal event. Just another appearance by a king and his daughter. Until it wasn't. Because that moment, the one no one expected, revealed something deeper. Not protocol. Not duty. But a bond. A truth. A shift in power unfolding right before the world's eyes. For years, royal watchers thought they understood King Felipe's relationship with his eldest daughter. The future queen. The heir. The young woman raised quietly, carefully, respectfully. But what happened that afternoon shattered expectations and proved one thing. Leonor is no longer the girl walking behind the king. She's the woman stepping beside him. And Felipe's reaction said everything. This is the truth behind the moment that changed the Spanish monarchy forever. From the very beginning of Leonor's life, Felipe held a quiet vision for her. Not a fantasy of titles or ceremonies, but a father's hope that his daughter would grow into strength without losing tenderness. Tradition without losing truth. Power without losing heart. But in the early years, that vision stayed hidden behind palace walls. The public saw glimpses. A little girl at her father's side, shy, small, soft-spoken. A child who carried responsibility far older than her age. And yet Felipe knew something the world didn't. Leonor was watching everything, learning everything, absorbing everything. While most teenagers were navigating school hallways, drama, friendships, noise, Leonor was studying state documents, constitutional duties, diplomatic structure, the invisible choreography of monarchy. She wasn't preparing for adulthood. She was preparing for reign. Still, nothing could have predicted the moment when that preparation would finally show itself. Not in a speech, not in a ceremony, but in something far more human. The day began quietly. A formal event, modest, controlled. Cameras lined up. Officials waiting. The king maintaining the steady calm he is known for. Then Leonor walked in. Not as the teenage princess Spain used to see. Not as the nervous cadet standing before the armed forces. But as a woman ready to step into her destiny. The shift was subtle at first. The way she carried herself. The way she looked at the crowd. The way she acknowledged her father, not as a girl waiting for approval, but as a future queen acknowledging the man who had guided her. But the true moment, the moment that broke the internet, came when the king moved forward to greet a group of officials. Protocol said Leonor should stay a step behind. Tradition said she should wait for her cue. Royal history said she should not speak first. She ignored all three. Leonor stepped forward, not intrusively, not arrogantly, but with a quiet, unmistakable confidence that froze the cameras. And Felipe looked at her. Not with shock, not with correction, but with something far more powerful. Recognition. That look, captured from 4 different angles, analyzed by millions online, carried a message Spain had been waiting for. My daughter is ready. Some say it was pride. Some say it was awe. But those who know Felipe's character saw something deeper. Relief. For nearly 20 years, he has carried the weight of the crown. The responsibility to restore trust, to protect unity, to safeguard the monarchy's future. He has stood through political storms, social shifts, global crises, personal scrutiny. But in that single look toward Leonor, it was as if the burden finally lightened. Because the future wasn't abstract anymore. It was standing right in front of him. The crowd noticed the change too. Their applause softened. Their expressions shifted. Conversations paused. There was an unspoken sense that something sacred was happening. Not ceremony. Not symbolism. But transition. And that's when the moment deepened. An elderly woman in the crowd stretched her hand forward, trembling slightly. She wasn't trying to break protocol. She wasn't trying to make a scene. She was simply trying to greet her king, something she believed she would never get the chance to do. Before Felipe responded, Leonor moved. She took the woman's hand gently, bowed her head slightly, and spoke to her. No cameras caught what she said. The microphones didn't reach, but the woman's eyes filled with tears. She kept nodding, gripping Leonor's fingers tightly, as if holding the future in her hands. Felipe stopped speaking to the official beside him. He turned fully toward his daughter and watched. Not supervising, not correcting, just watching. Later, a lip reader interviewed on national television claimed Leonor said something like, "I'm here because of people like you. Whether it's true or not doesn't matter. What matters is the reaction." Felipe's eyes softened. His posture changed. His expression lost the guarded composure of a monarch and became something simpler, more human. A father watching his child fulfill her purpose. When Leonor released the woman's hand, she stepped back beside her father. But this time, she didn't stand behind him. She didn't shrink into the background. She stood at his level. And Felipe made the choice that turned a simple gesture into royal history. He stepped half a pace back. A king stepping back for his daughter. A father making room for the future. A symbolic act so subtle that many missed it in real time. But those who saw it felt chills. In the days that followed, the footage went viral. TikTok edits with dramatic music. Instagram posts analyzing every micro-expression. News outlets debating whether Felipe intentionally signaled transition. Royal scholars writing columns about generational leadership. But the real story didn't lie in the headlines. The real story was the bond between father and daughter. For years, Felipe and Leonor's relationship has been described as formal, respectful, private, controlled. But insiders have always whispered something different. They trust each other, deeply, authentically, almost instinctively. Felipe, who grew up under an entirely different monarchy, heavy, strict, rigid, wanted something better for Leonor. He wanted her to have a voice, a sense of self, a foundation built on purpose, not pressure. And that moment, when he stepped back for her, proved that his wish came true. But the story doesn't end there. After the event, father and daughter walked together toward the palace entrance. Cameras continued rolling, but this time the world saw something rarely captured. A private conversation between the king and the future queen. Leonor leaned closer. Felipe listened intently. Their heads bent toward each other the way two people do when they share something meaningful, something only they understand. A body language expert later said, "This is not a king and princess. This is a father preparing his daughter to lead." And then came the moment that sealed everything. As they reached the final steps, Felipe placed his hand gently on Leonor's back. Not guiding her, not directing her, supporting her. She smiled, not the public smile, not the practiced royal expression, but a genuine, warm, daughter-to-father smile. Felipe whispered something. Leonor nodded, breathed in softly, and stepped ahead of him. The cameras erupted. Because for the first time in modern Spanish royal history, the future queen entered before the king. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't a mistake. It was a message. Spain, this is your next monarch. And in the quiet space between them, a transition took place that required no proclamation, no decree, no announcement. Just trust. Philippe's trust in his daughter. Leonor's trust in her father. And the nation's trust in the bond they share. People often ask what makes a great monarch. Intelligence, discipline, strength, vision. But they forget the most important quality of all, humanity. Felipe has always been a king who places humanity above performance. And Leonor, shaped by his example, has grown into a leader who understands that ruling is not about power, it's about people. And that is why the world reacted so strongly. Not because Leonor stepped forward. Not because Felipe stepped back. But because the moment revealed something rare in royalty. Love expressed through leadership. Leadership expressed through love. The story of Spain's monarchy is changing. Not through force. Not through crisis. But through evolution. Through a father handing down his wisdom, and a daughter embracing it with dignity. And those who watched closely that day didn't just see a royal moment. They saw a legacy unfolding. A father preparing his daughter. A king guiding his heir. A future queen stepping into her destiny. And when history writes this chapter, it won't begin with a coronation. It will begin with a look. A gesture. A step. The day Felipe realized his daughter no longer needed protection. Only space. And the day Leonor showed the world she was ready. This was the powerful royal moment that changed everything.